Hey, good morning. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast. We're going to discuss news and politics. Now, we are live on YouTube and Twitch. Typically, try to post something other than this podcast on the internet. Gotta be real honest. Sometimes it just gets banned from the internet within like 5 minutes of posting, and then I gotta wait until I come up with some other shit. Otherwise, like, what the fuck am I gonna start over? Okay. And you gotta remember, I just go off the top of the dome. I don't storyboard. I don't have a script. There's not someone standing in front of me with a whiteout board trying to make sure I remember how to pronounce a word or some shit, or however y'all do it. I certainly don't rehearse, which I don't know if that's like good or bad or if it's like a skill. But it certainly means I'm not spending my entire fucking day to make one 4 minute video. You get it? Good morning, Danielle. Uh, gonna be real honest. Watch the president painfully descend 4 stairs. I wouldn't even call that a flight. I believe a flight is 10 to 10 plus stairs. Uh, so, gotta be real honest. Don't even think he can make it down a full flight of stairs at this point. Kind of struggled down a short, just a few steps the other day. And I like to use that as the visual evidence that the president is dying. And again, I know a lot of people want. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but it is true. There are a lot of people out there that want Donald Trump to live long enough to be held accountable, and I can promise you that that means a lot of more people die. So, no, okay? All of the fun stuff will happen as soon as that man dies. A lot of people are holding their breath and scared. And to be real honest, when you don't know where the bad guys are coming from, it kind of makes sense. The more I think about it, why the Democrats have quietly backed away from their support of Israel, and for the most part, unless they've got their security together, really not trying to get into it. Okay, that's what I see. Okay, so for everybody wondering, like, why isn't anybody saying anything? Because they're scared. And if they're saying stuff, it's because they have security in place. Vladimir Putin lied about Ukraine attacking his house yesterday, just so he could justify anything that he does moving forward. His neighbors said that's bullshit. 14 residents of Valdai interviewed by Mozem Abzia, whatever, Obayasinit, so they did not hear characteristic buzzing of drones or any explosions. They did not receive any SMS alerts about an air threat. So, this is where we are. Okay? Just make sure you see the playbook. You know, the whole like doing it wrong. If doing it wrong were a fucking trio, Trump, Putin, and fucking Bibi. And again, this is the shit. The spokesman for the Russian dictator refused to provide evidence of a UAV attack on the residence of the Russian leader, calling it an insane claim. How dare you ask for evidence, he said. He urged, uh, take the Kremlin's word for it. Yeah, what good is your word? Oh man. Yeah, right. If What's this? Vancouver. Olivia on Twitch asked. Olivia, this is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch is like our backup. Mhm. I've been doing it for, wow, more than a year. A year and 2 weeks. Look at us. Look at us, chat. We start with world news and then we move to U.S. news and politics. All right, the CIA has carried out a drone strike on a port facility in Venezuela without congressional approval. Happy fifth day of Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Good stuff, I guess. Yeah. Not really. CIA carried out a drone strike earlier this month on a port facility in the coast of Venezuela. Drone strike, details of which had not been previously reported, targeted a remote dock on the Venezuelan coast that the U.S. government was being used by the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or Aragua. By the way, full of shit. A remote dock. Jesus Christ! If you're a CIA agent, how are you not on suicide watch? What the fuck are you doing? A remote dock. What this means is that this is the pussy way into war. This is fucking dumb. Immeasurably dumb. And no worries. I talked to two people on active duty yesterday, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps. They ain't fucking with this shit at all. All the people on active duty are getting their shit in one sock, y'all. They're taking classes. They're being taught exactly what to fucking do when they get out of service. Y'all think this is gonna be a fucking reckoning? You better goddamn believe it. Mm-hmm. We're talking about stricter rules about using the fucking military, about using force and shit. That shit's coming. Yup. You don't do shit without congressional approval. Bitch, sit down. The president ain't shit. That role is about to be severely weakened. Mm-hmm. He's basically disrespected agencies that desperately needed. They need respect. That's how they work, right? When they're lowering themselves to using drones on remote docks, it's so loosely tied to the CIA. I wouldn't be surprised it didn't have a fucking thing to do with it. And Donald Trump's, for the record, horrific, cannot keep his mouth shut. Shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah, politics is gay. What the fuck? Blocked? That's not even like nobody caught that and didn't think that was that we were just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Nope. I'm not interested in being friends with somebody or having somebody in my audience that thinks that we can describe things as gay that aren't sexual things at all. Yeah, dig. I'll take I'll take a stance on some shit. All right. Hey, if you bought a Hyundai, look at you go. Hyundai joins foreign car makers cutting ties with Russia for good. Jay starts getting Twitch followers. Say you're pro LGBTQ and the gays will come complimenting you. Of course I'm pro LGBTQIA plus. Why would I not be? I was in the Marine Corps. It's like the gay branch. You know, we're the men's department of the Navy, the gayer branch. People think like gay people and transvestites are are the actual trouble. You know who the trouble is? Polyamorous people. Yeah, that's right. There are people out there that will love anything and anyone. I'm totally kidding. But like South Korean automaker Hyundai is not in a position to repurchase its former manufacturing plant in Russia due to the continuing war in Ukraine. A buyback option expires next month. So we'll see. Obviously, we'll see. Russian ghost ship sank while smuggling nuclear reactor parts likely bound for North Korea. Val said President Biden is vacationing on my island. They did not. I just want to point this out. Here's Reuters. The President of the United States lying. He said, okay. So Russians demonstrate Oreshnik missile system in Belarus after the alleged attack on Putin residence. Okay. I don't get it. Decision making centers in Kiev. So basically, yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. If you're a farmer still bootlicking this president, China is investing billions in Latin America, potentially sidelining U.S. farmers for decades to come. Congratulations, America. So you can see how Russia's our enemy, right? When they oppose the independence of Taiwan. White farmers, bro. Jesus. Yeah, no shit. American farmers, the big farmers that make food that isn't even sold in the United States, they're fucked. They're fucked. Hmm. Yep. Latin America, other countries are just gonna receive monies from other countries. Are gonna invest. Yeah, they got populations to feed. Hmm. And fucking crazy to me. How in the fuck does a farm get a subsidy to produce food for another country? That's fucking insane to me. I know that doesn't make sense, but and keep in mind, in addition to lying about an attack on his land, on his house, he had already ordered a new offensive against Ukraine. So that was in the same day. Fuck off. Saudi Arabia bombs Yemen port over weapons shipment from UAE and issues a warning to Abu Dhabi. Again, I never ever in my life, I didn't want to be like my parents. My parents grew a garden. It was like their hobby. First 6 months of the fucking year, though, we ate out of that goddamn garden. Um, and really only sloughed it in the wintertime. Buying cans of soup and chili and eating fucking grilled tomato soup and grilled cheese and shit and comfort food in the winter. We ate out of our garden under no certain financial pressure. They did it. They just that's what they did. It's gonna have to become like this is how we feed ourselves. I wish I felt like there were adults in the room that were gonna right the ship, and it's just everything's so slow moving. Nothing happens overnight. Now, keep in mind, this is not the government you voted for. One of the things that I am continually reminded is that these people didn't really win. They cheated. And they're in charge, and they could be passing a bunch of laws, and they're not. They're kind of skipping that part. See, the problem that we're going to run into is that when you don't pass the laws and the rules, there are consequences. And we talked about what are the consequences for what happened in the fall of 2024. What are the consequences? That you be barred from politics. So just understand, they're not doing shit in office, and they're about to get barred from politics and then held accountable. There's a reason we call it justice's waiting room. We are we are going to be waiting until these people are out of power, which might be sooner than you think. I hope that helps. Like they're not doing the passing the law thing. Yeah. Poland is going to produce 10,000 precision missiles in a landmark agreement with South Korea. Poland to produce 10,000 precision missiles as it boosts its firepower. Homar K rocket launcher systems. Looks like a big fucking system. Big missile. Yeah, they cheated and won nothing, and they are not smart enough. I hate to be like this. They're not smart enough to make it into a law and then do it. If it we've talked a lot about how just because it's legal doesn't make it just or right or ethical. They decided like we don't even give a fuck about the law part. They could have just made it law. What's wrong with just going to Congress and making Congress vote to decide to go to war? You dig? Like they're fucking it up. They're gonna get held accountable. His cabinet members are resigning. We're not in war. Bombing, drone bombing a fucking remote port is not war. Also, didn't stop 8 wars. Saudi Arabia just bombed Yemen over a shipment of goods that isn't even from either of those places. It's from the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Holy fuck, I hate that word. United Arab Emirates. It's very deliberate. Blah 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 blah. Iran's president urges the government to listen to protesters' legitimate demands. Iran's president Masoud Pezeshkian said he'd asked the Interior Ministry to listen to the legitimate demands of protesters. It's fucking insane that the president of a whole ass country, bourgeoisie, bourgeoisie. I think it's a J, but I'm not gonna correct you, Zeke. I don't really give a shit. Iran's embattled currency hit new lows on the unofficial market. And again, there's a third story. This one from Reuters. Russia says Ukraine attacked. Yeah, it's not even a. It's not even J. It's a G. I was wrong even. Um, which is just dumb. This is just dumb, immeasurably dumb. Okay, so they're trying to hoodwink you and be like, "Oh, you attacked Putin's house, so it's gonna fuck up our negotiations now." They were never gonna negotiate. That we were never, they were never withdrawing from Ukrainian land. They're gonna have to be bombed out. They're gonna have to be struck with missile and other large explosives in order for them to come up off that land. Hmm. And remember, our government doesn't listen to protesters. No, the fuck it doesn't. So remember, yesterday, China decided it was going to do some naval exercises. Those exercises are going on for a second day, and they're disrupting the air travel in Taiwan. This is things wars start over. Okay, disrupting disrupting travel. Italy backs Ukraine's military through 2026 per Reuters. Look at Italy not fucking it up. Morning agent. By the way, I'm going to be an asshole. When I was in fifth grade, Neil A. Armstrong Elementary School, my fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Reed, took me out in the hallway one day and got down on a knee and looked me in the fucking eyes and said, "You're such a smart boy. If I ever hear you describe something that you don't like as gay, I will send you to the principal's office and I will call your mother. Do you understand?" And you know what I haven't done since fifth fucking grade? Describe something that I don't like as gay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Thank you, Mrs. Reed. So keep in mind, Iran's government is dealing with some shit, right? They really got some shit going on. We've been covering, hey, Iran effectively is collapsing in front of our eyeballs. What happened? Well, 70% of Iran's population is concentrated in three cities. That's really bad. Population density, hyper focused, super bad. Got to spread out, right? Additionally, they abuse their groundwater systems. And all this means is they have in their cities, they have like fountains that are groundwater powered instead of like wells that you dig into the earth and you're using anyway, one of the things about that I've learned about the way groundwater works is that if you dig for water, that water source that you find it's renewable. Some most I'm assuming there's like sometimes it's not. But if you abuse groundwater or water near the surface, if you abuse that source of water, that source of water is not renewable. I hope that I'm making sense to people. And just imagine that Iran did that as a big ass country in three big ass cities. When you abuse your groundwater, which is a not renewable source of water, you're gonna have to tell your fucking citizens you can't live here anymore. We don't have the water for all of us. And so they've had to evacuate. And it's horrific. I cannot imagine having to evacuate and move south, immigrate, like your entire fucking family and everything you own and all that shit to undeveloped land in the southern part of the country. Like the hillside. There aren't houses or cities or smog, right? And then on top of that, in Tehran, right after they said we're having a water crisis, millions of people are going to be dispersed. Then they had a smog attack. They've been fucking dealing with some shit. Okay. The last thing they also need, in addition to their fucking currency collapsing and their people fucking protesting, their business owners just shutting their fucking doors. What is the point of being open? Nobody's buying shit because nobody has shit. And all of this so Donald Trump can attack Iran to help Israel expand into Iran as well. In case anybody wondered, what's the point? Yeah, I'm all about like people come in, say whatever the fuck you want, but when someone comes in and the first thing out of your mouth is politics is gay, but whatever, blocked. I got no use for that. Sorry. Yep. Anyway, Iran's gonna attack Iran, which that makes sense because Iran's doing all kinds of fuck shit, right? They're not the good guy. Their country's not collapsing already. They're attacking Iran so Israel can move in on them. Let's make sure we say that out loud. Speaking of fuck shit, here's China flexing their blockade capability. Yeah, hey, good morning. All right. Japan Defense Ministry suspends Kawasaki Heavy from bidding on its projects for 2.5 months, citing here's Nippon.com, your doorway to Japan. Kawasaki Heavy falsified data on the fuel efficiency of submarine engines it manufactured between 1988 and 2021. God, I would love to be like a professional editor that gets paid to edit all these articles for when they misspell shit. Because I'm like probably the only person that has access to all of this and reads all of it. And I'm like, you put an extra one there. I would like to delete that. You should pay me. Oh my God. Can you imagine being a foreign aid worker? For the record, angel, right? Yes, there are bad people everywhere, but largely people who volunteer or take whatever the fuck money they pay you to go be a foreign aid worker, and then you show up to the place where you're supposed to deliver aid and there's not anyone alive. That's what happened in Sudan. Anything crazy overnight? Fuck yeah! Crush! Listen at this shit. So, Vladimir Putin fucking lied about his residents being attacked in Russia. Okay. On the same day, he'd already authorized like strikes on Ukraine. On the same fucking day, he lies about his. He said, "Oh, my residents got attacked by 50 Ukrainian drones." They interviewed his neighbors. 14 neighbors were like, "We didn't get an SMS of an airstrike. We didn't hear the buzzing of fucking drones. Where's the smoke?" These are his neighbors. So, like, nah, he didn't get attacked. But now, what Moscow's saying is, oh, the attack on Putin's residence is going to change our negotiations. I'll get the fuck out of here. Yeah, exactly. And then we were just talking about how in Sudan, foreign aid workers showed up and there's no people there. More than 100,000 people have fled Al Fashir since late October. It's going as a fucking ghost town. Russia designates George Washington University undesirable, accusing the U.S. based institution of promoting anti Russian sentiment and spreading false claims about the war in Ukraine. And oh my god, I want to go to GWU. Fuck Russia. Individuals found to be affiliated with an undesirable organization face up to 4 years in prison. Those who deem to organize its activities risk up to 6 years. Russia introduced its undesirable law in 2015, using it to crack down on independent media, opposition groups, and foreign funded organizations. Hundreds of organizations are currently blacklisted. I need that list. I need the list. I need to know what are places that I can fucking go to. You gotta think like Harvard's on that list. Yeah, I hope you're all having a great Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that shit. Today's my day off, and there's 3 college football games on today. I get to watch Coastal play. For those of you that don't know, I'm a big college football fan. I even, my secret desire, I want to be an NFL head coach or an head coach of a big Division 1 football program because they get a massive mouthpiece. hmm First of all, everything that comes out of your mouth is used as a motivating clip. What? And then also, I'm like deeply political and well spoken, and most of these coaches are fucking turds. And I just think it would be really interesting to have like a full blown socialist that's like a winning football coach. And he's talking about, one of the reasons that my program wins is because at my heart of hearts, I'm a socialist. And that means that I demand that these kids be treated really well and that they eat well and they're dressed well and they take care of themselves and get really good grades, right? And that translates. Just like Dion said, look good, feel good, play good, get paid good, right? But anyway, undesirable per Russia. Get fucked, you turds. China unveils new ethnic unity and language laws. Ooh. With national security perspective. Sounds like nationalism. Where's Mike? Mike, look, the commies are doing commie shit. Does anybody have any questions? China's ruling Communist Party has vowed to keep up efforts to fight corruption next year after a record 63 high ranking officials were placed under investigation on suspicion of graft. I don't know what the fuck that is. What is graft? I'm reading. Graft means using your public office or influence for dishonest or personal gain. You mean grift? What's the difference between grift and graft? I'm reading. While both involve illicit financial gain, they're the same fucking thing. Graft often implies abusing a public office for money, whereas grift usually refers to smaller scale swindles, confidence tricks, or scams, like a con artist cheating people. Ah, very interesting. So basically, presidents and elected officials graft, and your bitch ass neighbor that's a MAGA is a grifter. Ha! Cool. Graft is grift with a job title. Somebody said, I'm glad they're incompetent. Oh, completely. Zeke said, I am no health buff, but when I hear wine is good for your heart and hugs are also good for health, I'm like a hugger and a light drinker. Yeah, I'm definitely. That, by the way, that is not one of my dogs outside in the freezing fucking cold at goddamn 0 dark 30 barking its ass off. Just want to point that out. It's not my dog. My dogs are in sleep in a dog pile in the bedroom. Still out there barking. Fucking insane. So keep in mind, here's Russia. Vladimir Putin has given the order to his army to press on with a campaign to take the southern Ukrainian region. Mm. South Korean KF-21 fighters are going to be fitted with ground attack capabilities in 2027, a year and a half ahead of schedule. Agree. Germany's far-right AfD has been invited to join the Munich Security Conference after it had been excluded for the last 2 years. This means that the AfD is 2 years behind all the other political parties that attend the Munich Security Conference. China military drills to disrupt international flights to and from Taiwan. Again, this is how wars start. Not bombing a fucking remote dock, Donald J. Trump, and then fucking giving up that it was the CIA. Can you imagine? Again, I'm going to keep repeating myself. Can you imagine being a fucking CIA agent being ordered to fucking remote bomb a fucking remote dock? Remote bomb a remote dock. You aren't even there. There's no one there. There was no firefight. There was no target. It was just a fucking wood, like a cheap wooden dock. Penny any shit you would have sent a fucking grunt like me to do. You know what I'm saying? I was a fucking E3 in the Marine Corps Infantry. That's some shit they'd send me to do. Not a fucking CIA? What the fuck? Ugh. George Clooney and his wife Amal have been granted French citizenship. How much younger is his wife? Their parents, the 8-year-old twins, but I'm always curious because he's like, what, 70? What's the age difference between George Clooney and his wife? 34 years. What is the age difference between George Clooney and his wife? 17 years. Hey, not that bad. Not that bad. He was born in 61, she was born in 78. That is kind of weird. He was like graduating high school and she was in diapers. Fuck. How old is he? He's 63, she's 47. How long have they been together? Met in 2013. They met 12 years ago. She was 35. How old is he? He's 64. 12 years ago, he's 52. She's 37. She's 30. Eh, I don't fucking know, man. Yeah. I mean, he was in his 50s when they met. She was in her 30s. I don't think it's weird then. I just when I saw who like what his wife looked like, I was like, she's so much younger than him. How much? Yeah, keep in mind the entire reason that Israel is backing Somaliland is because it gives them legitimacy. 65 and Hub is 50, 15 years. But when did you meet though? Because you met when he was 51. Boomers married all their lives is my romance happy ending. Hmm. Yeah, and 8-year-old twins. Huh. Interesting shit. You're gonna replace Palestinian people in Somaliland? Of course they are. All right. So this is a Europe police thing. All right. So I wonder how many police officers in the United States are part of a secret organization. So the Metropolitan Police in the UK made a rule that says, hey, if you have any loyalty to any organization where you like look out for and support each other, you have to declare that. The Freemasons are saying this amounts to religious discrimination, and this is a conspiracy theory that Metropolitan Police will protect their own Freemasons and that they need to declare that they're officers of the Freemasons. It's interesting because you immediately my brain did what it did and it was like, what other organizations are tied up with the police and the Met? Like, what the fuck is going on at the Metropolitan Police Department? Are they hiring all? Anyway, Jesus fucking Christ. All right, let's talk about stocks, shall we? Mining stocks jump as precious metals recover. Great. Great, more slave labor, he said. Anytime you see mining stocks on the rise, that just means more mining projects. In stories that would normally not be a big deal, NVIDIA has taken a $5 billion stake in Intel. Keep in mind, the US has a 10% stake in Intel. So understand what is happening is they're holding each other up. What's gonna happen is this AI bubble is gonna hit. Companies are gonna go out of fucking business. Donald Trump's doing everything he can to help his buddies. So he's got buddies that are the head of Intel. So US has taken in 10% interest in Intel. Here's Nvidia, the biggest company in the US, taking a $5 billion stake in Intel. First of all, $5 billion is a drop in the fucking bucket for Nvidia. That's what makes it questionable. Nvidia is huge. $5 billion is nothing. Why would you do that? Because the AI bubble is going to burst, and if somebody isn't holding a significant percentage of Intel is going to collapse. I see what they did there. Reuters reporting the porta potty companies filing bankruptcy to wipe away $2.6 billion in debt. Come on. Wipe away? That's some fucking title work. United Site Services owns 350,000 portable restrooms. Filed for bankruptcy in New Jersey on Monday. A judge has dismissed the criminal case against a TikTok streamer held in immigration detention. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Federal judge has dismissed a criminal case against a popular Los Angeles TikTok streamer citing constitutional violations after his lawyers were denied access to him while he was in immigration detention. U.S. District Judge Fernando Olguin issued a ruling Saturday dismissing an indictment against Carlitos Ricardo Parias, who's known for documenting police and immigration enforcement activity online. Parias' rights were violated when federal authorities repeatedly failed to allow his criminal defense lawyers to visit or speak with him in immigration detention so he could prepare for trial this week. So he's going to be free. Man, I can't imagine being a fucking ICE agent. What a turd. What a turd. Nothing you do sticks. It's like being a failure, but for a job. Hundreds of home demolition sites may have been filled with toxic dirt. What the fuck is going on in Detroit? By the way, love Michigan. Indiana's northern neighbor. Hundreds of Detroit home demolition sites were potentially backfilled with toxic construction debris from a demolished shopping mall and other sources, creating an unfolding public health threat in the city's neighborhoods. Detroit is the nation's lowest income big city in the U.S. industrial heartland. was left with tens of thousands of empty structures and as industrial plants closed and left the city in past decades. Detroit's population dropped from nearly 2 million people in 1950 to fewer than 700,000 today. The city's demolition program is widely considered the largest ever in the United States. Despite repeated requests from The Guardian, Mayor Mike Dugan's administration and state regulators have so far not disclosed which toxins have been detected. Independent environmental health experts and a former regulator say lead, mercury, cadmium, PAHs, and asbestos, chemicals that are toxic at very low exposure levels, are likely in the type of slag used to backfill neighborhood sites. Problem could have been avoided. The problem could have been avoided. I fucking hate reading that when people's lives are at stake. Looking at the flowers is Walking Dead mean. Hmm. So somebody asked about Anthony Joshua. He's a British boxer. Former world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua escaped with minor injuries in a car crash that killed two of his friends and team members. Oh, Jesus Christ. Busy stretch, 11 a.m. Family ties, sustained only minor bruises. Oh my God. Yeah, he's the guy that beat Jake Paul. Hmm. Held three of four major world championship belts in boxing, secured a gold medal in super heavyweight in 2012. Traveling in a Lexus SUV collided with a parked truck. Going a little too fast. I love y'all. I'm just wondering, what's the story? No drugs or alcohol. Speeding. Hit a parked vehicle. Bumps and bruises. What's the story? Seems like a nothing burger to me. But, hey, doesn't seem weird. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. Yeah, yeah. Now, if if you were looking for some weird shit, if I saw the vehicle came to a sudden stop and fucking exploded, then I'd be like, oh, that screams foul play. He was speeding and hit a parked car. He's got bumps and bruises, and there were no drugs or alcohol or foul play involved. Yep, his, two of his trainers died. Hmm. I hope he keeps knocking motherfuckers out. Sucks that he lost his trainers, man. It's terrible, terrible. I can't imagine being the driver of a vehicle when it crashes and two people die and you just walk away. He's a big motherfucker, though. You could take a beating. Hmm. Okay. The second pilots died in that two helicopter crash in New York. I mean, you can kind of know, why he was driving fast, right? He just knocked Jake Paul in the next week. That dude's career's over. That's how hard he hit him. I mean, it should be. It should be. Dear God, I don't want to watch him anymore. That's one of my dogs going at it in their sleep. An Oklahoma man has been charged with fatally shooting a neighbor while target practicing in his backyard. No shit. No shit. Did you ever wonder what happens if you shoot a gun up in the air, right? Where does it come back? Where does the bullet come back down? What if the angle is not straight up? What if it's like a 45? Where's the bullet come down? See, one of the things that I learned when you are shooting a firearm is that you got to check the backdrop. So people will do stupid shit like put a target on a big tree. Okay, ding-a-ling. You're going to miss wide what's behind the tree. And hopefully, it's just a hill, like dirt, right? You would love to just shoot a gun into a pit of dirt where it just dies. If you don't have a backdrop that you're shooting into that is just a flat, permeable object, you risk the bullet behavior being unpredictable. If it hits a hard object, it could basically splinter and sort of mini, I wouldn't say explode, that's loose, but it could splinter. Um, I am never surprised when someone dies while someone else is practicing shooting a firearm. Never shocked. Mm-mm. With a gun he bought for Christmas. How the fuck? How the fuck? You just got that shit for Christmas and you already killed someone on accident? Oh shit, doggy. You're They're never gonna let him have a gun. But yeah, here's a CNN story. It's a big deal. Yeah, good morning, good morning. Hey! Remember how I told you don't be afraid to enjoy professional sports? The ECHL and the Professional Hockey Players Association have a tentative agreement on a new collective bargaining agreement that'll end a strike that lasted 2 days. Yeah, tits will pardon them. Yeah. The league and union on a Saturday night announced the deal that still needs to be ratified by a board of governors and full player membership. A total of 28 games have been postponed Friday and Saturday since the PHPA went on strike. This is a 30-team North American minor hockey league, the ECHL. I'm glad to see them unionized. Okay. The AP reporting 6 Islamic State militants and 3 police officers killed in a clash in northwest Turkey on Monday. So this was yesterday. I think we'd kind of talked about how this was going to happen. From the AP. It's crazy how they talk about people. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh! You know what's gonna happen today? They're resuming the search for Malaysian Airlines flight MH370. A marine robotics firm is going to renew its search more than a decade after the plane disappeared. McTaco tits. Holy shit, man! Either California's big and LA's big, super big, or California's fucked. Haven't figured it out yet. Is California just that big? Is LA that big? Or is California just fucked? Here's a gas leak outside Los Angeles that shuttered a major highway and forced people to fucking shelter in place. A rupture in a gas line in the northern Los Angeles County, or in northern Los Angeles County, had authorities to urge nearby residents to stay inside and temporarily shut down a major California highway for several hours. Oh yeah, you could see it. That's bad. It was brown too. Yeah, that helicopter crash was in New Jersey. Everybody good over there? We got some listeners in Jersey. I think we've seen that actually. Ooh, look at Texas out here fucking it up. The state is making a list of transgender Texans. It's using driver's licenses to help. California's big, LA's huge. Cool. That was still that still looked like bromine. You don't want to be breathing that in. There, Los Angeles, California. You can have your thousands of miles of coastline. I'll take breathable air. I'm just kidding. I'm pretending like I'm my parents in the 90s. All right. The African regional bodies reject the recognition of Somaliland by Israel. So, as you can tell, Israel's super popular everywhere else. Everybody just loves them too. These fucking turds. An adult entertainment club faces new questions after business license filing and millions in provincial cash. Oh, you know they're whoring them girls out. Months before an adult entertainment club was swept up in controversy at an Ontario legislature over millions in government funds, the business based in Toronto's exhibition grounds told the city it had big plans. A new nightclub in the horticulture building was poised to redefine Toronto's nightlife with the extraordinary presentation of a sophisticated burlesque experience blending elegance and indulgence. The company, Hypnotic Clubs, Jesus Christ, and its president, Zlatko Starkovsky, were applying for a business license as an adult entertainment club, according to the documents obtained by CTV News through a Freedom of Information request. The pastel supernova is the woman in the picture. Grand Bazaar is the name of the company. FYE Ultra. Okay. Just a wild. It's weird that they have millions of dollars up front. I think we talked about this yesterday. Jeffrey R. Holland, next in line to lead the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, has died at 85 years old. He looks like a little boy. Like an old man, but a little boy. How you get a fat chin like that? I never figured that shit out. I'm gonna do some neck exercises. I don't want pussy throat. You know what I'm saying? It's wild to me. You know what he looks like? Mr. Potato Head with his mouth. I mean, he's dead now, so we can talk about him. How the fuck are you gonna stick around till like 85 waiting on a job? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Hey, I want to make sure that I remind you not to take life too seriously. Nobody gets out alive. Okay? Especially, I'm a football fan. My wife and I, we that's what we do together. That's like our hanging out. You know what I mean? Um, don't kill each other. Don't don't do shit like this. A Florida man, go fucking figure. Jason Kinney, 47. He's a millennial. Fatally shot Crystal Kinney and critically wounded her 13-year-old daughter in a dispute over what to watch on TV on Monday night. Monday Night Football is the correct answer, ladies. Florida man fatally shot his wife, wounded his stepdaughter, and then killed himself after the parents argued over changing the channel for Monday Night Football. Crystal Kinney said the words "you shall not say." She did not want to watch football anymore. Plow! Jason Kinney had been drinking. No shit. Wow. Crystal Kinney told her son, 12, to go to a neighbor and call 911 as the boy was leaving the house and heard a gunshot. She said, I begged him, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, and he shot me anyway. Shooter fled, called his sister in upstate New York, and told her I've done something very, very bad. You'll see me on the news, but I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail for the rest of my life. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Back at the couple's house, deputies found an undated note from Crystal Kinney telling her husband, you know you're drinking. You're using cocaine again. That's not the way. This is not the way the family should be. You need God. Man. Hey, domestic violence is bad, okay? Also, hey, just leave it on the fucking game. I don't look. I'm a fucking Colts fan. Philip Rivers is like 45 years old playing the fucking. You know what I'm saying? You can't look away. It's like watching a slow moving car crash. I'm not talking about the domestic violence that resulted in two people dying. That stupid. I'm talking about Monday Night Football. Don't don't look away. Don't change the channel. Don't you dare change the channel. I'm sorry. Look, I've been an NFL and college football fan my whole fucking life. Okay? I got married. Do you know what no longer is nearly as important it was? That's right, kids. NFL and college football not nearly as important. Happy wife, happy life. More importantly, you don't have to blow your brains out in your fucking shed, Judd, or whatever the fuck that dude's name was. Hey, we need. I, are you saying that I need to work on my comedic timing? I don't know. I've been in kind of a slap happy mood today. I think it's because it's my day off. Obviously, murder is bad. Okay? So is whatever the fuck else is on TV on Monday night. Trust. Because it's not even always great on Monday Night Football. So I'm dead at what's fucking. You know what's fucking great? I could keep going. Thanks for emboldening me, Zeke. Um, you know what does make me want to fucking blow my brains out? Some of these fucking Monday night games. God, you um. Oh, I had to get that one off my chest. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just gotta say the schedule makers in the NFL abhorrent. It's like they don't pay attention to the NFL year to year. You don't see like who's good and who's not. And because my wife, we make a weekly video that makes us look at the schedule every week. And there are some weeks, whole ass weeks in the NFL where my wife is like, "That's a shit bowl," and I'm like, "Oh my god, look at the next game. Who the fuck made this schedule up? What is wrong with you people?" It's like torture, not torture because I'm willing. You get it. It's like it would be like going to see. Trying to think about it. Like guys that like getting beat up by girls. I'm trying to remember what the women are called. Beaters. You know what I'm talking about. You go somewhere and a woman lays you down over her lap and spanks you and shit. Um, it's like that, except it hurts. You know. Anyway, forget where I was going, but you get what I'm saying. The Democratic Party hiding its 2024 autopsy report because they're going to wait until they're back in power. There's no statute of limitations. Well, there is a statute of limitations, but it's years. And remember, the president has immunity. Why should the Democratic Party be open and transparent right now when they're not in power? Then you just tell these fucking idiot Republicans what to do and exactly what you're going to do. You know what's wrong with the people in power right now? Is they can't shut up. Every fucking day it's like, oh, this organization that is supposed to be fucking clandestine, Donald Trump's like, yeah, I use the CIA today, bitch. You ain't supposed to say that. I can promise you, you are not supposed to talk about. I'm just saying. You're not supposed to talk about it. Tomboys. 2024 autopsy report. The person that wrote this article is a white man. So if you're not like brazenly fucking let down by the time you get done, color yourself shocked. I think I'm gonna stream today. I'm in a mood. Keep in mind when you see what I've been doing with my time. uh, so I play video games as a form of escapism. I've been playing video games as long as I can remember. When I was a toddler, my parents put a Atari 2600 in the basement. Okay, before I could read or write, I was playing Pong. Okay, and then when I was like 4 or 5 years old, Nintendo came out, and I was be- I was not only playing Nintendo and playing Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, blah 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 blah. I was a Nintendo Power subscriber. This means your boy beat them fucking games and was shitting on everybody. And everyone, including my own father, fucking hated it. My brother hated it. My mom, she just stand there and watch like, get him, Jared. But my dad and my brother were like, this motherfucker. And it didn't matter what the fuck it was, bro. Top Gun, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles didn't fucking matter. I'm just better because I've played the game a lot, and they have a fucking guide called Nintendo Power. And one thing that you can't get two grown ass men to do when it is something that they enjoy is fucking read a book, right? So if I've read the book and I played it just as much as you have, oh boy. Okay? Now, fast forward that like all of the years. I'm now old. Now, what I do is I go on like an analytics website. So there's Mobalytics, there's and I, Maxroll, there's all kinds of websites where they have someone that does the math for you and tells you what like the pinnacle of whatever you're doing looks like, and then you can just model your shit after that. And that's kind of how I approach video games. Is I'm like, well, all this information's out there, and there's billions of combinations of ways that I could do this. What's the best way? I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. You know why? Because it fucking works. Yeah. And you know what you don't have to do? You don't have to toil. And that's something that we really got to get away from. We've decided as a people that if we're not watching someone fucking struggle, it's not worth watching. So I think I'm going to stream today and show you what that looks like. What does not fucking around look like? I'll show you Diablo 4, the brand new paladin class. Yeah. I'll show you what not fucking around looks like. Show you what somebody that did their fucking homework looks like. You're gonna be like, oh, everything just dies? Yeah, and I didn't have to do shit. I just stood there. It's delicious. Yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 was fucking unnecessarily difficult. Dina said I miss video games. If I start playing, that's all I do. That's what you might, Dina, you remind me of my Aunt Donna. Rest in peace. When I was a little kid, my grandma Ruby had a Nintendo, and she had some sweet fucking games, bro. She had like Double Dragon 2. I remember going over there and being like, "How the fuck? That's like a rad ass game to have." It's a game of linear and big ass amount. Let me guide a couple hours. Yeah, I'm a nerd, Zeke, so it's called Rails. So yeah, when the game's on Rails, I don't use a guide. When you're stuck between two walls and you can only go forward and like it's a to Z game, why do you need a guide? But when it's open world and you go to, you know, my favorite thing is you want to have someone have a panic attack. Show them, show them the atlas on Path of Exile. They'll be frozen immediately by the exponential choices. What the fuck? Fortunately for humans, Diablo is far simpler. hmm But yeah, my Aunt Donna would come while I would be playing video games, and I'd be ripping in Double Dragon or whatever as like a 7-year old. And my Aunt Donna would come in, and I'd hand her the controller, and I'd be like, "You play, like this is your house." And she'd play for a couple minutes, and then she'd just hand the shit back to me, and she's like, "Nah, I'm having fun and shit." What? That's like the whole point, Aunt Donna. And she's like, "Yeah, but you don't understand. Once you're an adult, life is like hard. You got work like all the time." And I'm like, "That sucks." And I'm like, "Yeah." And so when you get to chill for a minute and you get to play some fucking games, you got to take this shit away from me. I can't be having fun. I'm not allowed. And I'm just like, that. I don't want to grow up. That fucking sucks. By the way, Hook was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and that is a movie about kids. Slay the Spire is a good game. Love Hate Relationship is a board game you can play with 4 players. It's fun and hard at the same time. I've heard Slay the Spire is good. I only have brothers and mom would let us play video games unlimited. My parents did not. My parents did that shit where they'd buy it for you and try to use it against you as a means of motivating you. Many books have determined that's not how you motivate someone. Everybody's wondering, like, is Donald Trump really going to legalize cannabis? Come the fuck on. But yeah, nobody asked, but people frequently have posited why the fuck aren't the Democrats doing anything? Let me say it for them since they don't talk. They're not in power. And if you give away the game now, what the fuck are you going to do later? Look at the people in power. You see how they have loose lips and how everything that they said is just fucking splayed out in front of you and there are no secrets? Do you see how it makes it a lot easier to fight someone when they're telling you everything that they're going to do before they do it? It's called telegraphing. If if this regime knew what it was doing, when Donald Trump writes an executive order, a bill would follow. They stopped doing that shit because the Republicans recognize they gotta have a fucking career after this guy dies if they're not in jail. So there's a reason they skipped fucking bills, went straight from executive orders to fuck the law. It's because they have to hope that they die before they lose power. Because once they lose power, think about all the people that have done and said nothing. They're losing their jobs. They're getting replaced by someone that's gonna fucking do something. And I'm talking about like legally. The Hill reporting Donald Trump consuming himself with foreign policy. Not should we extend those healthcare subsidies. By the way, have any of you gotten letters in the mail seeing your premiums for healthcare have gone up? I'm wondering when it's gonna strike the people that I know. Obviously, the reason that I'm asking is because, well, I'm a disabled veteran. I don't actually have healthcare, whose premiums are relevant. But I'm wondering, have you seen that? Have you guys actually felt the expiration of ACA subsidies? I'm just wondering how they're going to roll that out. Because you know Donald Trump's begging these fucking healthcare companies to charge less, knowing that they're not going to extend these subsidies. So I'm just wondering if anybody's gotten a letter. No? Doesn't seem like anybody's gotten a letter. Okay. Just wondering. There's an article from NBC News on the four big things Congress did in 2025. Bob said no one around me. Work checks coming in $10 less. Republicans extended Trump's tax cut, boosted spending for the Pentagon and immigration enforcement, and repealed a record number of regulations and changed the Senate. Jesus Christ. Donald Trump's beautiful bill projected to slash taxes by $4.5 trillion. Do you know how many people are going to die? The fight over Christian nationalism in a small Tennessee town. Look at this fucking weirdo. That means premiums are getting expensive. Hey, they have 1 month left to pass that budget bill, or they got to start all over again. Yeah. Here's this weird looking fuck. Josh Abatoy. Founder of the real estate company Ridge Runner. Prominent in U.S. conservative circles, describes his development as an affinity-based community, marketing only to people marketed to people not only interested in peace and quiet of rural life, but the constellation of right-wing ideals, faith, family, freedom. Those are the values you try to celebrate. And making Tennessee unfuckable again. I see. APAC is retreating from endorsements and election spending. It won't give up its influence. The lobbying group is taking a quieter approach this midterm cycle, still seeking to keep Congress in Israel's pocket. The group has not yet publicly endorsed any new candidates this cycle. I want to make sure that we have this conversation as a fucking group. Did you hear what I just said? APAC has not officially endorsed any candidates this cycle. They're doing it under the table. Don't believe everything that you read, and I will work as hard as I can to not share like bullshit regarding who APAC is endorsing. Because I know a lot of people lately have been slinging Jasmine Crockett and fucking Tallarico's fucking names around, and neither of those things are true. Both of those are good candidates, and we need candidates in races that are on the same team. So a lot of people are starting to grandstand for Jasmine Crockett or Tallarico, and I say either of those are good as long as it doesn't involve APAC. But what APAC is doing, we just looked at this article that said, well, APAC hasn't actually officially endorsed anyone. They're giving up that public endorsement and the election spending, and they're still going to have a deep influence in Congress. So now you just got to be careful, right? That's why we think we need the American Socialist Party. Is we need to know which politicians are pro-America and which are pro-Israel. Because you can't be both. Sorry. Yeah, somebody said whoever goes. Zeke said whoever goes the most left. Yeah. My big thing is I don't want to hear about your faith. I don't want to hear you inject your faith. This is just personal. I don't want to hear you inject your faith into politics because every time someone talks about God, they are godless. Every time someone talks about faith, they ignore the faithless. James Tallarico talks about God. I'm just off it.
I want to hear about policy. I want to hear about what you're going to do for your constituents. I don't give a fuck about your God. God's not real. Talk about real shit. But then again, I've always been that way. I've always listened to someone speak and been like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They need to talk about something else. Anything else, actually, would be better than this. I just think it's the wrong time. We're past that part. Listen to a little bit Eat the Rich. We'll check the weather. It's fucking cold, boy. I am clicking buttons and nothing is happening. Welcome to my life. All right. Been here about 90 minutes. Okay. Red flag warning. There is a critical fire weather something. Emergency crews cannot reach unresponsive driver on I-90. Awesome. In New York. There's a snow squall warning in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. Okay, here's the map of the U.S. If you live west of, I don't know if that is that the Mississippi River. I think if you live west of the Mississippi, you're good. But yeah, if you're in the east, if you're west of the Dakotas, Kansas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, all the way out to Cali, clear. Now there's a little moisture off the west coast of California. There appears to be a little bit of rain, a little bit of rain. Once you get into Iowa, Minnesota, you've got uh, rain snow mix. Looks like northern Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia. What is that? Pennsylvania, New York. Okay. Up into the northeast part of the country. And then what I do notice also rain in the south. In the very dirty south. Burp. This is Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Panhandle of Florida, all the way down in Florida. Okay. Keep your head on a swivel, no surprises. The reason we talk about weather at the end is because of what happened in Hill Country in Texas. We're just we're owed better than that, right? No surprises. Keep your head on a swivel. Make good decisions, as my wife says, and we'll see you tomorrow. I might see you today. I might show you what not fucking